you guys doing? My name is Amy Anthony. I am the manager of data engineering at Validity, and we are a marketing, optimization, and automation software company. Previously, I was at ReturnPath, and Validity acquired us this summer. So ReturnPath, we were a nice grown-up company, about 400 people. Validity is a startup, 40 people. So it's been exciting to meld the cultures together to help bring the culture that ReturnPath had to Validity. And that not only includes company culture, but it includes data culture. And that's just what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about today. How do we encourage an organization-wide data culture? All right, I have a question for you. How many of you in this room, and we will see if I can tell because of the lights, work on a data team? Whether it's data analytics, data engineering, great. How many of you work on a business team? Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're all here because we all play a very important part in being able to encourage an organization-wide data culture. It is not just one team's responsibility. If we do not all work together, then we will not be successful. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is, what is a data culture? If you love data like I do, then you know there's all sorts of data buzzwords that are out there. We want to be data-driven. We want to make data-based decision-making. We want to have data democratization. Hopefully, we don't want data chaos. And now we also want to be able to extend and have a data culture. But what does that really mean? Where data-based decision-making is the action of analyzing and reacting to data, a company's data culture, as defined by Dr. Jeffrey Wayman, who's a leading data expert in the education space, says that data culture should be thought of as the way things are done when nobody is looking. And I love that. It's something that is seamless. It's something that if we truly have a data culture, becomes embedded in who we are. And hopefully, if we're doing it right, we reach a place where we no longer think about it. It's simply just the way that things are done. Gartner has said that culture and data literacy are the top two roadblocks for data and analytics leaders. So clearly this is something that has become of importance in this day and age where we value data the way that we do. I have been in data and analytics and engineering for a while, my entire career. I know it looks like I just graduated yesterday. So this is not something that has always been pronounced. This is not something that has always been valued. So it's very exciting for me to be able to still work in this industry at a time where I really feel like companies understand and value this. And I think it's really important for each one of us in this room today to be able to understand the role we play in the significance and what we can do to help enable this and make it happen. I like metrics, clearly. I'm in data. So I have another statistic for you. Gartner's 4th annual Chief Data Officer Survey cited that the #1 critical activity to data and analytics team success is having a data-driven culture. And that for us to achieve success in the data and analytics space, we must transform our enterprise by prioritizing this culture change and fostering this to be a data-driven organization. All right, so we're just going to talk for a little bit, and then at the end, I'm going to let you talk. But the first thing that we're going to go through is, how do we build a data culture? we're going to talk about the two pieces that I think are absolutely important, which are the people and which are the technology. The other thing that I want to call out is just because you have a lot of data doesn't mean you're data-driven. We want to make sure that we're curating the data, that we understand the data, and that we're using it for our success instead of just having a bunch of it exist and trying to make sense of it and going into a room and 3 different people have 3 different results that are supposed to be the same thing. Data-driven, as defined here, means that you're committed to gather data, to form your business decision-making rather than basing decisions off of intuition or personal experience. Oftentimes, doing this it's harder. Everybody has an opinion. It's easy to just go off of that and say, but I know, I've been doing this for a while. But companies, in order to truly be successful, to actually monetize their business and get the value out of data, that just won't work anymore. And being able to be data-driven is one of the essential foundations for being able to build a data culture. Being data-driven in order to make better decisions is the fundamental objective that a data team has in collecting, analyzing, and deploying data solutions. All right, so how do we do this? How do we build a data culture? The first thing that I want to talk to you about is empowerment. If you get data in front of people, they will get excited. People love data. If they're good at their job, they love it because they use it to measure. They use it to prove why they're good at their job, to be able to show the areas where their company is succeeding, where their company needs to take a closer look at things. But oftentimes, if you are not on the data team, part of the problem is you don't get access to the data that you need when you need it. And if you are part of a data team, your problem is you either don't have enough people, you don't have enough time to be able to deliver, or maybe you don't have the right technology, what your customers need. So, the big question is, how can we really democratize the data analytics capability so that the data team is doing just enough in the right way to get their customers, all of you in the business, the data that you need in a timely manner to help make your company successful? Number 1, you need to have a platform where people can easily access data. For us, this is Looker. Lucas introduced me. I've used Looker at multiple companies. I love Looker. If you are considering Looker, they do not pay me. I would love to talk to you about why you need it. And here's why. As I mentioned before, I've been doing this for a little while. I've used every tool that's out there. I'm not kidding. Every single one. I will tell you exactly what I think about most of them. And with Looker, it's not perfect, but it's great. And here's why. Looker helps people believe in the data. I have never worked with a tool the way that I have with Looker, that you do not have to stand behind the line of the ETL, and yes, my team is responsible for that as well, and wait forever just to get some kind of data in an analytics tool so that you can visualize something. Looker lets data teams be agile. It lets you see the data quickly. It lets you do transformations. It lets you get the data in a place that's good enough for you as the business person, the subject matter expert, to be able to give feedback to the data team on, yes, this is what I want. we're almost there. No, we're not there at all. That's okay, because it only took us a matter of hours or days, not weeks or months, and then we can go back and we can iterate again to make sure it's what you need. And when people have the data quickly so that they can make the right decisions, then they begin to believe in the data, and then they begin to change their behaviors and their mindset, which then helps bring about the data culture. How many of you have been on the end of needing data, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting? No one? Can I just not see? I see you. Thank you. It was the lights. It's frustrating. And then how many of you, when you get it, you're like, what is this? Looker is a platform that allows you to scale quickly, iterate, do prototypes and MVPs, which I am a huge fan of that we'll talk about, and get to what you need. All right, so we've talked about providing data and how that empowers people. Now I want to talk about creating an atmosphere for data culture. Creating an atmosphere that embraces transparency with data and enables people to discuss and share data and metrics across the organization is one of the key builders to enabling a data culture. So we're just going to talk about some of the things that my team does and that I've done in the past that works well. And it doesn't require money, and it doesn't require a lot of resources, but it organically will help bring about the communication and the transparency and the data sharing that will help enable a data culture. The first thing is use a Slack channel, some other tool out there. We use Slack. I love it. Dedicated to data to encourage informal conversations and to generate ideas about data. So we have a formal, loosely formal, it's not rigid, training program that we take data consumers and what I call power users through. And after they have gone through the training so that they understand the Looker UI, they understand what we have helped create and curate for them to be able to use in dashboards and to be able to create in their own in Explorers, then we open up a Slack channel. We call it Looker, and me and my team tell everyone, this is your tool. You can feel free to reach out to our team, which is small but mighty. You can ask questions, but don't just have it be for the data team. As you start to use Looker, you know the data for your area. If someone else asks a question, answer it. If you have an idea, if something isn't working, if you're questioning a definition, then put it in there. Call it out. Let someone else also contribute. It is very exciting and freeing to a data team to see that someone else in the organization has the answer to someone else's question about data that you do not have to answer. It allows them to then free us up to say things like, can you change this? This isn't clear. Can you add this in your next feature release? We'd love to see this type of filter. This data would be really valuable, and we don't have it yet. While someone else can say, what does this definition mean? I don't quite understand it. And then another user of the data can say, well, I think it's this. Well, this is how I use this dashboard. It's very, very effective. It's cheap. It's easy. All right, another one is share your top metrics during team meetings to provide visibility into what's working and what isn't. Take control of the destiny of your department and look into and say, this is how we should be measuring something. Create something in Looker and then share it with your team. Hey guys, this is a way that I've been looking at the data and we're seeing a trend that I've never been able to see before, and it's pretty interesting. Getting those metrics out there allows people to look at data in a way that they might not have looked at it before. All right, tools. So I told you there's two pieces that I think are key: the people and the tools. Leverage tools that can be broadly used by teams across the org so that they can develop their own insights. They can track the behavior for their departments, that they know that data better than anyone. And they can drill down deeper into both areas. For us, we use Snowflake for our data warehouse, and we use Looker for our data and visualization platform. We believe in starting small and prototyping along the way. That way, if you get it wrong out the gate, you didn't waste much time. And then you can put something else out quickly in front of someone. They are much more forgiving with your mistakes along the way if you are meeting their needs in a timely manner, because they know, hey, I don't always know what I want at the beginning anyway. I have an idea. It frees up a business user. You don't have to have this long list of requirements. You might just be like, I want to see data that looks at this for this time frame. I think it's around this product or this type of customer. Then the data team can provide something that sort of looks like that. You can dig in, and then you can meet back in a day, a week, when you've had enough time, and then you can talk about, well, I think I really need this to be able to see this. Having Snowflake and Looker allows us to do that. I believe very much in ELT. I think it's important for us to be able to take data sources from all over. We have a lot of different data sources at Validity Return Path. We have SaaS business systems. We have big data. We have relational data that's in really, really large volumes. We have files, which sometimes makes me cringe. I'm not going to lie. We have S3 buckets. We pull it from everywhere. We quickly put it in Snowflake. And the first thing we do is then put Looker on top of it to transform it. That allows us to then meet with the person who knows the data the best, give us the feedback. Yes, this is what I want. No, it's not. Let me play around with it and see. And then they can use it. Then our team can do what we're best at, which is make sure the performance is the way it should be, make sure that the solutions we're delivering are scalable, which sometimes means all of the joins should not live in Looker because it will become a nightmare, and you don't want 15 PDTs. But your business user who really could care less about that doesn't have to worry because you've given them what they want quickly, and then my team can go and do what they're really great at, which is doing all of the heavy lifting in the database, which Snowflake rocks at. Happy to talk to you about Snowflake and why I love that as well. I've also used all the data warehouses out there. I'm not trying to say that I'm old, but I have been doing this for a little while. And it then instills confidence in the people and our team, and it builds a wonderful working relationship. All right. The other thing you can do is implement data governance, which is a really big word, and to everyone it means something different. So I'm not asking you to solve all the data quality problems in your company right away or master data management. What I am asking you to do is use the tools that you have and the processes that you have to start small and implement the pieces of data governance that matter, which is providing and promoting data literacy. Start there. It's one of the single best ways to actually get to a single source of truth, which, as you will see, is key. And if you don't have a single source of truth, you will not be successful in enabling a data culture that lasts. Use Looker for your data governance. So there are things that we do. They're easy, they're manual. We use part of Looker, they work. I love that I heard earlier today that Looker is implementing the data dictionary because what we do right now is manual around that, and so we don't have to anymore, which I just think is fantastic. We use the tooltips in the explorers and on the dashboards as part of data governance so that when you go in, you can easily reference, oh, this is what this means. This is what this metric is. This is what this definition is. We also embed README documentations in our dashboards. We have a logo. We have a hyperlink under the logo for every dashboard, and then that takes you to a Microsoft Word doc that simply gives you a one-page on this is why this dashboard was created. This is the business objective. These are the filters. It's very handy. It's little things like this that don't take a lot of effort that really empower data consumers. Because if someone is using your data and they don't understand it, guess what? They're going to stop using it. All right. You need culture catalysts. Now, here's the great thing. You already have one. Because if you are in this room, then you have yourself. So raise your hand, be excited. You have just, thank you. You have just enrolled yourself to be a culture catalyst for your company. I am sure that you rock, that you are amazing. So just having you on your side means that you are well on your way to enabling data culture. All right, how do you do this? Well, create what I call a Looker Power User Group, which I think is what Lucas calls an ambassador, which is a better name, so we're going to change ours. And doing this, start with a key beta group. Start with a small group of people that are willing to give you their opinion, whether you like it or not. There's nothing worse than asking someone to be part of a beta group and then they don't tell you anything, because then you're worried they're probably not using what you've given them either. So grab people that are key, that know their stuff for their area, and tell them, hey, I have a deal for you. We will give you data quickly. It might not be pristine. It might have problems. It will be good enough, and you're going to tell me if it sucks, if it rocks, somewhere in between, what's good enough, if it's broken, if the definition is confusing, if what we have provided you in the Explorer isn't curated in a way that makes sense, and we, in turn, will fix it quickly, will continue to let you have a voice, and we'll ask you to give us input for the future releases that we add to our backlog. We will train you on the tools so that you will be good at your job, so that you will love Looker the way that I do. We will teach you what it means to be a good data steward, which is really easy. Just don't use definitions that you make up that aren't in Looker, and if you think it's wrong, then tell me what you think it should be so that we can fix it. And then train the trainer. We will train you, you will train others, we will be able to do much with little, and we will start our data domination tour. That institutes a culture of feedback, which is super important. It gives everyone a voice. So then they will take on ownership. Having that ownership will lead to the adoption of the process and the culture that we are trying to propagate. And then, as I said before, iterate. Provide data quickly, pivot as needed, so that the data isn't stale, so that we can make meaningful decisions fast. Who goes first? You need buy-in. So I will ask you, is there a leader in your organization that will catch the fire that you are trying to start a flame for to help you implement this data culture in their department first? For us at ReturnPath, it was our CFO, which delighted me to no end. Finance, they have a lot of responsibility, and they have a lot of spreadsheets. They love their spreadsheets. And oftentimes, it's difficult to get them to move off of the spreadsheets onto a tool that's more automated that might actually make their job easier because they have tight deadlines that they have to meet. Our CFO had used Looker, loved it, so my job was pretty easy in that regard because he just told his team, you have to use it. What I had to do was make sure that I was supporting them with their CSVs, which meant I would say, sure, I'll upload that and create a table in Snowflake so you can access it in Looker. It's okay that it's not automated, and I sort of die a little inside because I understand that's your process, and I care more about you than me. Just so you know, when I said there's lots of mistakes that I have made in my career, this is one I've made multiple times, but thankfully there's always a new opportunity where you can learn and grow and become a better version of yourself. All right. Having this puts you on that strong data culture path. It allows you to be a catalyst and have other catalysts who will embrace the change. All right, leading a culture of data. So I'm going to let you read this. I'm going to let you read the next one. Here's what I need you to know. You can lead a culture of data. You can be the one who nurtures and supports this and helps develop the organizational structure that encourages the data dialogue and the feedback. You can be the one that will act on this knowledge and be an ambassador. If you start first, whether you're on the data team, whether you're on the business side, if you say, I will start, it will happen. Your willingness to be transparent and collaborative will be contagious. All right, we're wrapping it up. Investing in this, it affects the bottom line, which is the reason we all work. We want our companies to be successful, and in order to do that, we need to be able to use our data assets wisely. It provides increased collaboration, accountability, and it will give us a single source of truth for the data. It allows us to trust the data. We all want trusted data. Having that means that then we will be able to build a team and have a support system that our company can trust, which is what makes organization-wide adoption happen organically and creates a strong ROI. Thank you.